All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is another episode of the Amateur Outdoors Podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about hunting private land versus public land, the major differences, similarities, and what makes each one hard or even easy to some people.
Yep.
That is going to be this episode.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
So when you think public land, I know we each have some experience hunting public land. Not a lot. Pretty new to it. We both hunted private. You a few years, me a while. There's some big differences.
Huge differences.
You're still hunting. You're still trying to get a buck, but like for public land, depending where you're at, we're in Michigan, one of the most densely hunted states in the country. I think it's number 2 right now. The amount of pressure in some areas on public land is kind of nuts. I've never had any like run-ins with another hunter, or like you set up in the morning and you wait and the sun comes up and you can see somebody in a tree 30 yards away from you. I haven't had that happen. I haven't had stuff stolen on public land. But it's a beast. I mean, it's a whole beast. You're looking at thousands and 10,000s of acres to hunt. And you got to try and bring that lens down in and kind of just bounce around and check spots where you think might be good. So, Zach, what are you looking at when you pull up Onyx and you're like, oh, that kind of looks nice. I kind of want to go hunt there for public. What are you looking for? What are some things that you really like to see?
Obviously, when you look at Onyx, you can get excited about some areas that you want to hunt, but at the end of the day, Onyx is going to be completely different than what it is going to be in person. So that makes it a big challenge, especially if you've never been there before. What I like to look for when it comes to public land on Onyx is I like to make sure there's a bunch of wooded area. I want to make sure if it looks like there's some thick shit in there, that's what I like to see. But I also want to make sure there's openings and clearings. I want to be able to see that. Those openings and clearings make it easier to see longer distances and to see if there's deer traveling in those different areas, especially if this is your first time hunting public land. I feel like the more you see when you sit, the better. It's hard to just go into some really thick stuff and set up there because on a big plot of public land, there's a good chance you're not going to see anything. Just straight up.
Yeah.
There's a good chance you might not see anything. So for me personally, for my first sit on a different spot in public land, I like to make sure I'm kind of on the edge of some thick shit, but make sure there's an opening where I can see so I can be glassing to see if there's anything moving.
Yeah, it's almost
and while I'm walking out there,
it's almost like an observation sit the first time.
Yeah.
You're just trying to find that opening.
Yeah. And if you get lucky during this observation sit, awesome. But it's really hard to go out there once and expect to be successful. Yep. There's a lot of scouting needs to be involved when it comes to public land. The public land that we hunted last year, I did a good amount of scouting on, and only saw for the two times that I hunted it, I saw 4 does, no bucks. Never got a shot on. Had an opportunity to shoot on a doe. Otherwise, I would have. Just they weren't close enough, and that's what makes it hard. There's no like food plots on a public land.
Mm.
So you gotta find a killer oak tree if it's earlier in the season. I haven't gone out during rifle season. I like to stay away from rifle season public land hunting.
Yeah,
personally, it sketches me out. I don't know who's out there. The first time I actually went out and scouted this public land that we hunted last year, I was scouting, and my dumbass wasn't wearing orange. Didn't think I had to. It wasn't rifle season. As I'm walking along scouting, all of a sudden I see movement, and I get my binos out. I look forward. There's this dude walking through the woods with his rifle, and all of a sudden I'm just like, oh fuck, it's this old guy, and I literally get scared just because I don't have orange on. And was he just he's just gonna see a big body and just shoot at me? I don't know. So I'm like waving my arms just to make sure, I'm like hey. I'm waving my arms, and he looks in my direction, and he's like ducking down under. He's like looking at me like this, just moving his head, trying to take a good look at me. And all of a sudden, he stands up and puts his hands up. Yeah, he puts his hands up and waves at me. I'm like, okay, thank God. But just that, I mean, I was out on public land, and it wasn't even like, it wasn't rifle season, and it wasn't busy, but I still encountered a guy with a rifle. I don't know what the hell he was doing, but it made me nervous. So it's just like
game or grouse.
Yeah, I mean, very, very possible. It's just when it comes to rifle hunting, I'm gonna stay away from public land. I will bow hunt public land. I think it's fun. It's very challenging, but it's cool to go out and see different spots. But yeah, what I look for is I want to be on the edge of some thick stuff, but make sure that there's a clearing, there's an opening that I can see through where I can see a good amount and try to see where these deer are moving. Especially, I mean, I'm going to do that no matter what, but if I go out a second time and if you saw deer movement in this one area, you kind of try to set up closer to where they were moving,
Yep, you see that buck 200 yards away, and you think, obviously, you might not get him the first set, but if you make a move on him, get a bit closer, go check out kind of where he was, if he's making a lot of sign, if he's just moving through, is he kind of living there, is he, what's he doing? Because you can make a move off that.
Right. Yeah, definitely. Now, what would you say you look for when it comes to public land?
So it's changed a few times as it does, but really this year I'm pretty much taking a lot of stuff that I learned from the Hunting Beast when I went to Wisconsin last year, and with that, it's pretty much. You go, like, I only have a couple spots, public spots, that I'm really going to be dialing down this year. And one of them is only for a week, and the other one is a massive, massive piece of land. But what I'm looking for is pretty much sign, tracks, poop, beds, just really looking to see where these deer are living, because I want to be as close to them as possible without spooking them. So if I find a few good beds, maybe it's a buck bed, maybe they're a bunch of doe beds, either way you're going to find out what's there. And then that plays into the wind of that hunt, what I'm planning. But I'll go in and pretty much just look for heavy tracks, heavy traffic, like corridors, a lot of thick stuff. I'm a big fan of swamps. Just really going in and seeing all that sign and just kind of following it, and just like, not like I'm gonna go sit here, like that's where I'm going. after scouting it a
Yeah.
few times. It's
Right.
okay. I kind of have an idea. Maybe the deer are moving east to west. Maybe they're coming out to oxbows at night to bed. Maybe they're going out in the morning to those oxbows to just browse and feed. But it's pretty much just getting a feel for how the deer are moving in an area and then really dialing it in by finding bedding, tracks. What is that noise?
Sorry. Technical difficulties. All right.
Nah.
Keep going.
Over here, Amateur Outdoors, we have technical difficulties every once in a while. But it's pretty much you make a plan, you're finding sign. I don't hunt acorns too much. I think it has more value in areas that maybe there's not as much ag, so especially up here. So I might give it a shot by finding those mature oaks this year if there's sign, if they're eating them, if they're dropping really good, if they're good sized acorns, maybe I'll do that. But it's really just trying to find beds and getting as close as you possibly can.
Yeah.
And that might take some serious walking.
Yeah.
'Cause I know-
Public land scouting is no joke. Absolutely no joke.
Like,
When I did the one that I scouted, it lots of walking involved, and it took a good amount of time. I mean, it's hard to cover a ton of ground and try to see everything, all the signs. You know.
yeah, dude. I mean, my buddy and I from work, we went and scouted up here, and we saw so much, like dozens of scrapes, of rubs, kind of just everywhere. So that's going to be, I haven't been back there since, but I think it's really just, I mean, having a solid plan, but not being afraid to just be like, oh, this is like an insane trail. I'm going to walk down this sucker and see where it's going and see if I can find anything good. Because if you get on a fresh scrape and there's sign everywhere, I mean, if you're close to bedding, if you're close to doe bedding in the rut, I mean, you're in a good spot to get it done. I mean, we haven't gotten it done yet.
Right. Yeah, we're still
But-
pretty new to public land hunting.
Yeah. But it's pretty much, I mean, aim
it's
aim
pretty
small,
ins-
miss small,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. It's
You
pretty
don't gotta
inspiring
walk
to
10
see.
miles. I mean, you can if you want. You can do.
Yeah.
You can scout all of it. But
Right. It's pretty inspiring to see like the hunting public and what they do. Because they are very successful public land hunters, and it's
Yeah.
pretty cool to see what they're doing. And I've actually seen a couple videos where people were explaining how what the hunting public does is bad for the hunting community, which I think is just a bunch of horse shit.
dude.
Because they were just saying, yeah, these hunting public guys are coming in and they're exposing all this hunting land that people have been hunting for years and all this shit. And it's just like, it's good to have this exposure.
Yeah.
It's good for people to see that stuff. Like, I enjoy watching that kind of stuff. Like, it inspires me to go out and challenge myself to do something different.
Yeah, I mean, that's half the reason why
I'm not used to hunt.
I didn't even know about public land until I started watching the hunting public guys. Like, I heard about like state land. Like, yeah, nobody really shoots anything on state land. It's kind of like a last resort kind of deal. But I mean, it's a challenge, and those guys just exceed. Like, imagine, like, some of the places they're going to hunt. If you're a local that has been living there for 15 years, and you haven't shot a mature buck, and those guys come in, and sometimes on the first, second day, they're putting a buck down, like a nice mature buck. I can see how people get mad about that. I mean,
Yeah, but it's public land. It's anyone's.
It's everybody's.
Anyone's game. Anyone's game, man. Yeah, I mean, and I'm pretty sure I've seen them hunt private land that they get permission to hunt on, and they're even successful doing that. Like they're just very successful hunters. They know
Yeah.
what to look for. They know what to see, and they go out and get it done. One day I aspire to be as good as they are. I'm sure there's more that goes behind it than what we see,
Oh yeah.
but they have all of them. Each individual has shot more bucks, more deer than I have by far, and it's inspiring to me. So,
Dude, it's amazing stuff. Amazing stuff.
yeah. Now, when it comes to private land now, there's a big difference. A lot of private land that is meant for hunting is going to have obviously your deer blinds, your food plots, all that good stuff. And that is a huge difference than when it comes to public land. Public land is more trying to kill deer out in their natural habitat that hasn't changed the whole time they've been there, unless it's been clear cut or something. But and private land, people are trying to do as much as they can to keep these deer on their property.
Yep, they're managing.
And they're trying to do everything possible. Yes, they are managing it, doing everything they can to keep these deer on their property so they can harvest the meat.
Yep.
You know,
so that leads into to the pressure piece, right?
Yeah.
So in public, you can go balls out. I mean, if you really only plan on hunting a spot a couple times a year, you can get after it. You can be more aggressive. You see a buck, you can go try and get him. But with
on
private,
public land, I would. Yeah. Yep.
I'm private. You cannot. I mean, you can, but that's not managing your property at all.
No. No, on private land, I'm definitely going to be way more hesitant to try to go spot and stalk a buck than I'm going to be on public land. On public land, I'm going to give it a shot because there's a chance I will never see this buck again. There's other people, which is another issue with spot and stalk on public land, but I would much rather do it on public land than my own land, for sure.
Yep.
So,
like I tried
private land
spot and stalk on our private downstate,
yeah.
And I got 20 yards away from this sucker in some CRP. I was crawling for probably an hour and a half trying to get to this deer. Had a doe locked down with them, and I was sitting in the snow rain for another hour waiting for the sucker to stand up, and then I just thought he left. I was like, he must have dipped out of here at some point. But coming back for the afternoon sit, I kind of walked by that area, and he got up with the doe and took off, dude. Like,
yeah,
he did not move. Like, he was there.
I actually tried it once last season on the private land that I hunt. And Ryan, you know this land. It is not easy to navigate. But it was getting dark and, sun was coming down. Where I had to go, that buck was kind of in the same direction that I needed to go to get out of my tree. So I was like, in my head, I'm thinking, there's a chance I spooked this buck, even if I get out of my stand and return back to my truck. I don't know where he's gonna, if he's gonna bed down. I don't know what he's gonna do. So there's a chance I could have spooked him going back to my truck. So I was like, I'm gonna try and spot and stalk this guy. So I get down out of my tree, moving really slow. Trying to follow him, but the property that I hunt is so hard. Like, deer can move around this property way better than I can. especially with that big ravine going across it.
Yeah.
I had to cross the ravine. And that made it extremely challenging. But once I crossed it, I got up and stood, and I did see him briefly. I had my bow. I saw him briefly, and he had no clue I was there, but he was just moving. He was just moving too fast. I couldn't keep up with him, and it was getting dark out, and I didn't want to risk running around the property trying to chase this guy, and then really run the risk of, really spooking him. If he was moving slower, I think there was a good chance that I could have got him. But he was cruising, just getting around. So I didn't spook him at all, but I don't think I would have been successful if I continued to pursue him. But it was fun. I enjoyed it. It's just that property is extremely difficult for me to do.
And that's where I think public
Definitely
has a
would
little
have
bit more
pursued
excitement.
on public, though.
The public has a little bit more excitement to it.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're seeing deer, of course, but I mean, you can really, like, even that situation downstate where I was 20 yards away from that sucker, a nice 10-point. I mean, I was watching him stand up, lay down for the whole hour as I was walking to him. And I didn't get him, but it was practice. Like moving when the wind's picking up, moving when it's starting to rain on you, moving just whenever there's some sort of uptick in wind or anything like that, and kind of just getting kind of dialed in to how to
for
really
sure.
put on a stalk. Because I thought I was gonna spook them, like guaranteed.
And I haven't.
I spooked a doe when I was like 40 yards away from him. This doe went busting out of the CRP like nothing. And I mean, then the rut, that buck he did not care because that wind was in my face. There's no way they were going to smell me either. But yeah, man, I think both are the best. I mean, it's hard to pick one over the other because we haven't had success on public. But I think the idea of getting a buck on public has kind of changed the past few years because of those kind of guys that are making videos. The hunting public, the hushing guys, all of them really. So I think it's good. It's good for the industry. I think people that say, "Oh, you're coming onto our public, it's not yours." I understand that you might have spots that you go to regularly, but it's public land. It's free game.
And imagine how good it feels to schwack a nice buck on public land.
Oh, dude,
like, I haven't done it yet, but just imagine that feeling. It's just got to be crazy. I mean, it feels so good doing it on private, but like, I feel like your chances are way slimmer on public land of that actually happening.
Yeah.
So it's just, and I feel like it's a luck of the draw kind of deal on public land. And it has to feel so good,
I mean, shoot, last year was the first year I really did any kind of public land hunting. And I saw an 8-point.
Yeah, me too.
Once. And I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I actually saw one, like right where I thought they might be going. So I was like, I think there might be something to this whole public land thing.
Yeah. And it gets you excited. When I saw those 4 does when I had public land hunted, I felt pretty good. They were too far away, but I was like, it was cool to know that I picked a spot where deer were moving,
Yep.
I was like, okay, I actually had the right idea. So,
and it's like it's new land, it's new hunting opportunities, it's maybe land you've never set foot on. I mean, it's just different, it's new.
Yep.
I think it's exciting to hunt on public, and I'm really excited for this year. I think there's some good opportunity for both of us to get some shots at a decent buck.
We're at the point now where hunting season is slowly creeping in, and the thought of it is finally starting to come back with everyone. and people are just getting excited, man.
Yeah,
People
dude.
are getting pumped. People at work, where I work, are showing me pictures of their bucks that they got on trail cameras, and I'm like, dang, this is getting me excited, man.
Yeah, dude.
Like I have tons of coworkers where they're just showing me pictures.
Yeah, they're
But
pretty good
it's
velvet
cool
right now too.
And oh my dude. So today, for everyone that doesn't know, I'm not recording at home where I normally record. I am actually recording in a hotel. I've been work has sent me out for a week to get some training done, so that's what I'm doing. So I'm recording in a hotel. But one of the guys I met today was showing me this buck that he got on trail camera, dude. Oh my God. That's all I got to say. The bucks down here are bigger, Ryan. I'm in
Jackson
I'm in
has some
Lansing,
monsters.
Jackson area.
Jackson is like known for
Yeah.
their massive bucks, dude.
This
It's
buck
insane.
This buck in velvet, Ryan, was a 13 pointer.
Dude,
This thing was huge.
holy shit.
Absolutely
Holy
massive.
shit.
He showed me this picture and my jaw just dropped. I was like, I have not seen anything like that around me. Not even others in the area.
Yeah, dude.
Like, this thing was huge. In velvet. Well, velvet makes them just look bigger in general, but you just
And they're still growing.
you know
right
if
now,
it's going to
too.
be a nice buck.
They're,
They are.
They're not done. They're not even.
They
They're
are.
not done yet.
No. And this thing already had some wicked size to him, like the length, and the width of his rack was just insane. So that right there, I'm just like, oh man, that gets me pumped.
Damn.
Because Big Mac on my private property. I hope he's still running around, but
Dude, if he comes back, he's gonna be something.
he's gonna be
special this
5.5.
year. He's gonna be.
He's gonna be a 5.5-year-old.
a beast. A beast.
He's gonna be. I counted. He was an 11 pointer last year. Yeah, he's an 11 pointer. So I don't know if he'll gain any more points or not. If he's still alive, I'm hoping he is.
Might get a little bit more mass on
If
him.
yeah, I'm hoping he's taller. Really hoping he's taller. But man, is he wide. He's got a wicked spread to him.
What is he, like 21? You think?
So
21
shoot,
inches?
I haven't seen him in person yet. It's hard to say.
Oh yeah. But dude, like one thing.
So I'm not gonna say anything about his spread yet,
Until you get him on picture.
even though I might
Get him on
never
that
see
trail
him.
camera.
Yeah,
bet
I
he's
mean, I got
around.
him several times, and I got him. So the same thing happened 2 years in a row with this buck. So 2 years ago, we first saw him. We're like, oh wow, this is a good 3.5-year-old buck. And his rack came out, tip of his ears. So he was decent size. He just wasn't very tall. So he was wide. We're like, oh, he has a split brow tine, and he has a little kicker on the left side of his rack. And we're like, wow, this dude's legit. I mean, he's a good buck right now, but like, imagine if he comes back around next year. Like, what's he gonna look like? And sure as shit, he came back last year, and oh my gosh, this dude got so much wider, like so much wider. His rack is a good, I would say, 2-3 inches past his ears now.
Gee. Yeah, dude, he might
He's
be
wide, dude.
If he comes
like,
back, he might
wicked
be in
wide.
his prime year at 5.5.
Yeah,
Maybe. Yeah.
And he had a couple long tines. I think his G2s were the longest, which is, I feel like, is normal, but he's still not very tall yet. But if he got some length to those tines this year, dude, if he's still around, he is going to be an absolute brute.
Yeah, dude.
Like a monster. And The same thing happened, like I said, 2 years in a row. October, he shows up on trail cameras. Haven't seen him in person. November rolls around, he disappears. We have not seen him once in November in the 2 years we've seen him on the property. So I have hopes that he's still alive because he did the same thing 2 years in a row. But I got to figure him out, man.
Yeah, dude.
Because he's
I
smart,
hope he comes
obviously.
back. He's probably just traveling to some.
Yeah.
He's probably just laying low for the most part. I'd imagine.
Yeah.
But that's like
Yeah,
that's
for
one
sure.
thing I realized. One of the reasons why I'm gonna be hunting more public this year is because the ease of travel to go downstate to the farm, which is 4.5 hours away from where I live.
Yeah, that's hard.
Like that gave me some issues last year because I would work a Friday night, try and wake up in the morning. I would always be a couple hours
Yeah.
late, so I would be behind. I'd be going out when it was pretty much light out. So really, it's almost just just happenstance. Like I want to do it. It's something I've always wanted to do, but now it's kind of like, oh yeah, I can't drive 5 minutes to go hunt private. I gotta go make something happen. So that's another exciting part about it.
And
is almost having
and I'm blessed
to do
that
it.
I'm able to. Yeah.
Yeah, you got a
I'm
nice
blessed
spot
that I'm
over there.
able to hunt. I'm blessed that I'm able to hunt 20, 25 minutes away from where I live, which makes it pretty easy. The land isn't easy. Still, I mean, we tried putting food plots on it last year. The ground is just too sandy. We did everything right. Just the stuff we planted just did not come up.
Yeah.
So
You might have to do more lime. You might have to cut down some trees to get more sunlight in there. But that's a whole nother. It sounds easy, but that's a week of work.
We use so much lime. We use so much, and it just didn't work. Like it barely came up. Little sad.
I don't remember seeing it,
but
there might have
just
been a
'cause-
couple coming up, but not a lot.
Yeah, it was very patchy. It was not good. Not enough to keep deer around, So, but
I wonder if you could do.
I'm doing some this year on the
If you could
property. I'm
plant
doing some
something
doe
that's-
control.
Oh yeah, get those old bitches out of there, dude.
There's some old does that need to go on the property. They're too smart.
Dude, they're too smart. They're aggressive towards bucks. They'll beat the shit out of a buck
Yeah.
if they don't like them, and they'll see you every
Yeah.
single time. You gotta get rid of those
Dude,
4
so
or 5-year-old does.
When I was rifle hunting in a blind last year, this old doe is just walking out of the woods. She's probably 75 yards out, and she's just walking in the woods. She's not even in the opening yet. I can see her. I can see her moving. All I do is pick up my binoculars and look. She's already looking at me. I'm just like, and it's like woods. I'm not even out in the open. Like, she's not in the open. I'm just like, what the hell? All I did was pick up my binoculars inside of a blind.
yeah,
I'm not even in a tree. I'm just like, this doe is these, and that instantly made me realize, I was just like, yeah, some of these does need to go. They're just too smart.
dude, the
And
doe I
one
shot
time I
last
was
fall
sitting.
was like that. She was
Yeah,
about
that
to
was
get
a-
me from
that
the
was a
ground.
brute.
She was a big girl, but she was about ready to bust
Yeah,
out of
last
there.
year when I was saddle hunting, and this one doe, I can't even see her, and she's just a snorting, and I'm just like, what the heck? I can't even see her, and she's just going to town. She's just making tons of noise, And it's pissing me off because I just know I'm not going to see anything else by this time, the rest of the night. And yeah, it's just these. I need to do some doe population control on the property. They're just it's getting out of hand. So gotta do some work.
Yeah, dude, get her done early on, first couple weeks of October, if you can.
That's the plan. I'm just gonna take weekends in the.
Yeah, I feel like some people think you should kill them like at the tail end of the season, like late doe, whatever. But then you don't know if you're shooting a
Just do it
pregnant
when you
doe or
can.
not. Yeah, just get it done whenever you can. A lot of people don't have the option to be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna shoot a doe this weekend. It's if I see a doe, I might shoot her. Kind of deal.
There's this one spot right across from my house that I'm able to hunt. And so I did last year, and I shot 2 does in 5 minutes. That was nice. Got that done quick. This was when I knew,
cool
like,
spot too, dude.
Yeah. Like, you go to this spot if you want to shoot does. If you want to shoot does, you just go to the spot, and you know you're going to see some. It's just, for some reason, actually, I know why. There's just a lot of people hunting in that area. In that kind of same patch of woods. So it's just like, it's hard to have big bucks come around in that area. But if you want to shoot some does, man, all day.
Yeah, dude.
So that's what I did. 2 in 5 minutes. That was fun.
That's so quick, dude.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yep, it was starting to get dark and they were starting to move. I was like, oh, there's one right there. Popped her. Like a few minutes later, another one pops out, hops the fence on our side. I'm like, all right, here we go. And shot her. Both down. So
you're done, bud.
Gutted them there. Dragged them up. Gutted them. Got her done. Got the meat. Got the old tenderloins.
Tendies.
So, yep. But that pretty much wraps up what we were going to talk about this episode. By the time this episode drops, I will be in Alaska. So, yeah. I would not be around, but I'll be trying to make some content. I don't even know if I'm going to have service out there, but I will be recording.
There might be
what I can.
Dumps. Some content dumps on you when it gets back.
Yeah, for sure. But
heck yeah.
Thank you all for listening to this episode. Make sure you follow us on Spotify. Give us a review. Make sure you check us out on Apple Podcasts and check out our Instagram page at the.amateur.outdoors. Until next time, stay amateur and have an unparalleled adventure. Peace.
Amen. See you.